the car accident.
Yeah.
You also give a lot of credit to having to go through that turmoil at that point. And you talk about just how you have to be positive in everything you do. How did that really change the outlook and how you look at life as well?
I know it surprises sometimes people when I tell them that was really the start of my life.
It does. I have to stop you because when we were upstairs at your press conference,
Right.
and I heard that,
Right.
when you talk about it being the start of your life,
Right.
go ahead.
It was a start because I think what had happened is my parents made things look easy. You know, I knew we were middle class, but there were certain kind of data points. We actually lived across the street from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in South Phoenix because he had emphysema and he would spend time there. So they never made a big deal out of people or circumstances, but they made things look easy. And so I was your normal, you know, youthful, young boy, you know, trying to quickly make up my bed and say I brushed my teeth when I really didn't, and not tying my shoes, and you know, just normal in life. And I truly believe at that point in time, and I say this with all sincerity, that God knew He had plans for me, and that I wasn't really physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually tough enough to be able to deal with what was coming ahead for me. And it was during that experience that it was going to be time for me to either grow up and become a man sooner than probably I needed to be, and deal with some adversity. And so that accident that happened in the summer of 1974, it changed my life. And because for a lot of different things, and I tell people, unless you've seen a baby born, a human take their last breath, you know, a beautiful sunrise, a beautiful sunset, a rainbow, or you deal with some type of major trauma in your life, you don't get a chance to really appreciate the majesty of life. And it was during that day that I should not have lived, and flew 30 feet in the air, landed on a little small patch of grass, and every time that I'm home, I try to go by and see that area just as a reminder. But it was during that journey of compound fracture of my femur and traction, and then a body cast, and to this day I still don't drink out of straws because I had to eat all of my meals and drink all of my fluids and go to the bathroom in a bedpan, you know, for months. And I tell people all the time, if you just do it for one day. And so what I had to go through that every single day, it one gave me a great appreciation of the beauty of life. And then that's when I promised myself, if I could get out of that body cast and get a chance to start my rehab, that I would spend every single day doing the best that I could to make the world a better place.
And your doctors told you swimming would really help you through. Just as far as the therapy you needed, and you went out and figured out how to have a pool in your own backyard.
Yeah, I did. I remember that meeting at the you know, your exit meeting that you have, and he was, I'm sure he was a nice man, but he wasn't really the most encouraging person. But he did give me some good advice, and I've learned, that was a day that I learned that even individuals who may not be as sensitive to you as you would hope that they would can give you advice to save your life. And he said, don't put a lot of pressure on your leg. You probably won't be able to run. You probably won't be able to participate in athletics. You'll struggle, you know, walking. And I just kept saying, okay, but tell me, assuming all that, tell me what would give me the best chance to come back to have a normal life. And he said it would be swimming. And so I talked to my parents and said, you heard what the doctor said, and they told me that there was a pool over at Tempe High School and they would take me, and I just said that wasn't going to work because I had to be dependent on too many other people. I knew they loved me, but then I had to wait till they got home from work, and you know what happens on holidays and weekend and mornings and all that. I had to get it to the point where there was nothing other than my energy level that would stand in the way of me getting in that swimming pool. And so I came up with the idea. I got about a $30,000 settlement from the accident, and to say I'm going to spend a portion of it, what about a third, to build a pool. And so my parents didn't have the resources to do it, but I'm glad that they allowed me to do it. And so we built a pool in our backyard, and I just swam all of the time as much as I could before school and after school, and really almost 6 years, almost to the summer, I was a Division I basketball player. And so I felt good, and that's when I really learned the lesson in life. You can have great ideas, you can have great aspirations, you can be talented, but until you're willing to write the check, sometimes literally, but figuratively, is that you're not really ready for greatness. And so I wrote the check, and I knew that how important that would be. And I went after it, and that was the beginning of it, and I really developed a love for the water, so I'm in the water as much as I possibly can be.
What did you say to yourself each time you got in that pool? Because you still had aspirations of being that college athlete. How were you motivating yourself when you got in?
You know, essentially, that's a great question, is because whether my dad, and this is something I never got a chance to ask him while he was living, is I don't know if he did it intentionally or it was by accident, but knowing how he is, he probably did it intentionally, is that my bike from my accident, he had it leaning on the shed in the backyard. And so I would look at that bike every single day. I have very few regrets in my life. And probably the only regret that I have is that when my parents got divorced after almost 50 years of marriage, which is a whole nother story, but I was living in Detroit working with the Lions, and when my dad had a stroke and I flew home, is that when they cleaned out the house, someone threw the bike away. And we had saved it all those years. I mean, really, I'd saved it from over 30 years. And it just got lost, because I would have loved to have had that with me, but that bike was leaning against a shed, and I would look at that bike when I was swimming, and my whole goal is I just wanted to make sure that I made progress every single day. And so that's what really motivated me. And it's amazing when you start seeing progress, you know, your body can get stronger and you feel like you're getting strong. You can hold your breath a little bit longer. I could go into deeper water. It was just a lesson that great things in life take time, but you got to be disciplined, and every single day matters, and you can't afford a day off. And that's really where I would develop, I believe, my work ethic to proceed forward.